Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.
Next on HIKI No, stories from across our island chain. Closing in on the century mark, a Kauai taro farmer still works the land, rain or shine.
If it rains, I still work 8 hours a day. So, because at my age, at 98.
Plus, a successful ocean photographer gives back to the community and the environment.
Learn how to properly assemble a fashion accessory that, once strictly for men, is now embraced by women as well. See how women are also embracing and excelling in STEM.
Learn what makes a single dad bodybuilder tick.
And find out how a mother appreciates her son's musical performances even though she can't hear them. You'll also learn about some of the special trees that adorn the schools in this episode of the nation's first statewide student news network. HIKI No!
Can do!
We're here on the campus of Kapaa Middle School in the Eastern District of Kauai. I am under one of the many beautiful trees on our school campus. This tree is a Puakini tree, locally known for its fragrant scent and long-lasting flowers. Most commonly used to make lei, Puakini translates to 10-cent flower, referring to the price of a lei made from Puakini flowers in the past. On our campus, you will often see students with these flowers displayed in their hair, spreading the exotic scent and a beautiful appearance. Our first story from the students of Kapaa Middle School features a dedicated taro farmer from Kauai's north shore of Honolulu, Mr. Ishikawa, who has been spreading his agricultural knowledge for nearly an entire century.
If it rains, I still work 8 hours a day. So, because at my age, at 98.
At 98 years old, Mr. Kinichi Ishikawa spends his days loving and caring for the taro fields on Kauai's North Shore.
I was just a plain farmer, so working 8 hours a day, and until now, I haven't changed too much.
For Mr. Ishikawa, farming isn't just a job, it's a lifelong passion and a longtime home. He's been providing for himself and others on Waikoko Farms since he was a boy.
I've been living all by myself right since I was 14 years old. I never depended on anybody. I did everything on my own, make a living.
Mr. Ishikawa's agricultural knowledge and nurturing character greatly influences those around him, including the farm's owners.
He has taught me how to cook taro his way, which is by boiling it a long time all day. He has taught me how to pull taro. He's taught me how to weed taro patches. He has taught me how to open a jabong with a sharp knife.
Mr. Ishikawa took a break from farming to serve in the 442nd Battalion during World War II. But he eventually returned to Honolulu and his love of agriculture. That love endured through the decades, even as his hometown transformed with an influx of development and technology.
Most of the companies, they hire all the educated people, more than just the high school graduates. In my case, I just went to grammar school, that's all. I never went to high school.
Despite a lack of formal education, Mr. Ishikawa stays true to the values and lessons cultivated from life on the farm.
He's taught me about long-term planning on the decisions that I make today. Don't just impact what happens tomorrow, but it impacts a week from now and a year from now and 20 years from now. And I always feel like when I'm around Kinichi, I always leave enriched. And I always leave with more than I came.
Family always comes first. Family is most important. And hard work is good for you and will make you live longer.
Humble and hardworking, Mr. Ishikawa says he'll continue to care for the land and the people around him, no matter what.
See, the branch is facing that way, so you have to pull it away from the branch. This one is fresh.
Thank you.
This is Ella Beck from Kapaa Middle School for HIKI No.
For show updates and a peek behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram at HIKINOCANDO.
We're here on the campus of St. Francis School in the Manoa district of the island of Oahu. Behind me is the most significant tree on our campus. It is located in the prestigious senior courtyard. This kiawe tree has been in these grounds for decades. In the early 1930s, the Sisters of St. Francis held prayer sessions around this tree to decide if they should purchase the land, build a school, and a retirement home for the sisters. This tree is also dedicated to Auntie Mikey Ayu Lake, a graduate of St. Francis School in the 1940s. She is one of the most recognized kumuhula of the 20th century. She trained many of the most respected kumuhula who teach and practice today. Auntie Mikey is known as the mother of the Hawaiian Renaissance. Our next story by the HIKI No students at St. Francis is about a professional photographer who created his own organization to inspire youth artists with his passion.
When I moved to Hawaii and started doing ocean photography, bought my first housing, I just absolutely fell in love with it and have never looked back. It's just been the biggest part of my art now.
The saying goes, pictures are worth 1,000 words. For Honolulu-based professional ocean photographer and artist, Greg Champion, pictures are much more than words. They're his passion.
Well, if I have a choice between going surfing now or going over, just driving over to Sandy's and take some pictures of the waves, I'm going to Sandy's all the time. It's really just kind of taken over all the passion that I have for photography.
Along his photographic journey, Greg started a local nonprofit organization called Decency, which provides funding and guidance for local youth photographers.
Decency started as a way for me to sell my art and then has slowly grown into a pretty cool organization that focuses on coastal sustainability efforts. I slowly evolved that into partnering with local nonprofits like Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii and becoming brand ambassadors for them to where I can raise money through art sales and just donate it to them for good cause. Now we're actually fully focusing on the youth artists. I want to create sort of more networks for the sport or the art itself. And it starts with some of these youth artists that we work with and help them along the way, sort of passing the baton.
In addition to having an eye for photography, Greg also sees what the arts can do for people's lives. It gives him purpose knowing that his passion is bringing meaning to those who appreciate his work and giving way to something that goes beyond pictures.
Decency means the world to me. It's just something. My family is extremely supportive of my passion, especially for photography, but as well as for decency. And it's a lot of time commitment. I get up at 5 a.m. and I'm going out to the beach and I'm gone for quite a bit, editing film late into the night. I think people underestimate how much work actually goes into starting an organization. But then opportunities come up, and one minute you're just so tired and you want to give up. The next day, something great happens and you're doing some really cool cause, or you're out working with other community members and you're just driving your organization like Decency to the next level, and it's just super rewarding.
Nothing worth having comes without effort and hard work. Greg Champion's long days and late nights for him are worth the legacy he wants to leave behind long after he captures his last wave. This is Sierra Toom from St. Francis School for HIKI No.
We're here on the campus of Lahaina Intermediate School in the Canoe District of Maui. Next to me is the most famous tree at our school.
This tree is commonly called the Hong Kong orchid. It was planted as a memorial for Miss Polly-Ann Van Zweden, who was a social studies teacher at our school. Mr. Hayase, our school counselor, describes her as a friendly, caring, helpful, and kind woman. On May 31st, 1996, Miss Van Zweden died in a 5-car collision caused by a drunk driver. Many of her students and co-workers went to her funeral. She was loved by many. There is a memorial plaque on a rock next to her tree, as a reminder of what a special person she was. Now, 2 of the students in our media production class have produced the following franchise piece showing how to tie a necktie.
Over time, fashion evolves. Traditionally, a necktie has been a male accessory. But lately it has grown popular with women. Obviously, wearing a tie requires knowing how to tie one. But don't get frustrated, because we will teach you. Here is a Windsor knot. To tie a Windsor knot, place the tie over your neck like this. The wider side should be twice as long as the smaller side. Then cross the wide side over the small side while keeping it close to your neck, and fold under and over. Next, you have to twist the part you just folded over around the shorter side of the tie, then fold over and tighten. You would then repeat an earlier step of folding the wider piece around and over the main knot. Don't forget to keep it loose. It should look like this. After that, have the wider piece go through the part of the knot that you just folded around. To tighten the tie, pull down the skinnier end while holding the knot. And there you go! You just tied a Windsor knot. Good job! This is Taryn Kabingas from Lahaina Intermediate School for HIKI No.
From women in neckties, we take you to women in welding masks, as Maui High School reports on how female students are breaking through gender-biased career stereotypes.
Moon emoji. Sophomore Bristol Dempsey really enjoys school, especially when it comes to her friends.
I know, but I love it.
But this 15-year-old has a special, fiery skill up in her sleeves: welding.
I first started out welding because all the other boys were doing it and it sounded like something not a lot of people could do. As I started learning how to weld, it became a passion and it really grew on me.
This passion led her to become the only female welder from Maui High School's robotics team.
To be the only female welder, it's pretty intimidating at times.
But her fear does not stop her from making an impression.
She's a perfectionist. And she's very tenacious in doing things the right way and correctly. She doesn't accept anything other than her best.
Bristol shows a great deal of perseverance and grit by scorching the stereotypes. However, many girls have difficulty overcoming their insecurities to take part in a STEM-related field.
Conceptions still exist in our society in which people think girls shouldn't play with power tools, girls should only play with dolls. These attitudes hinder the opportunities for girls to have hands-on exposure to tools, playing with blocks, all opportunities to help develop their spatial awareness, a skill that's critical in many STEM careers.
Having role models of women currently working in STEM jobs can also have a huge positive effect.
Having positive role models and more exposure to STEM will help build girls' self-confidence in their potential and in their abilities.
Adding gender diversity also leads to an increase in creativity.
I think diversity in any field is important, whether it's STEM, whether it's in politics, whether it's in business. Why? Because when a field of endeavor brings a lot of people with diverse backgrounds and information, I think that leads to more creativity, more dialogue, more progress. That's how I look at it. And frankly, diversity represents our country. Clearly, Hawaii, we're very diverse. Lends to a much richer experience for everyone who participates.
According to a University of Maryland and Columbia Business joint study, gender diversity at the management level leads to a $42 million increase in value of S&P 500 firms.
Women could do anything they want, and we gotta keep telling our future generations and our kids and our little sisters and our older sisters that that way more women won't be afraid or discouraged to join STEM.
This is Axel Dagyo from Maui High School for HIKI No.
We are here on the campus of H.B. Baldwin High School in Wailuku, Maui. In the center of campus is the historic banyan tree. It is over 60 years old and predates most of the buildings on campus. It is also over 3 stories tall and covers an area of about half an acre. Our next story from HIKI No students at H.B. Baldwin High School is about a teacher who is also a professional bodybuilder who tries to inspire others to achieve their dreams.
I'm a teacher. I've been here at Baldwin High School for the past 14 years, teaching the Travel Academy for the past 10 or 11 years. And lastly, I got back into bodybuilding.
Sometimes the most inspiring people come from unexpected places.
Being the academy teacher here at Bowdoin High School, that requires a lot of time for me outside of class, as well as planning trips, fundraisers, activities. Being a single parent, one of the obstacles I had to overcome was making the time commitment that you need to have in order to be successful at bodybuilding. In high school, I was super skinny. I graduated in '98 at 135 pounds. So when I got to that age where I could start lifting and seeing the difference it could make in my life, it was more for, I guess, my protection. So I just tried it and kind of fell in love with the sport. So off season is when you train and you try to do heavy and you're trying to build more muscle, so you're not worried about the cuts, you're not worried about how you look in front of a mirror necessarily. You're just trying to put on as much muscle as you can where you need it. And then when you're in season, that's when you start dieting, you start doing more cardio, and then you can start seeing the shape come in. My meals consist of chicken, tuna, eggs, brown rice, vegetables, protein, drinks. For the mental aspect of bodybuilding, going in for a workout, you gotta mentally prepare what you're gonna get done. But then when you're on a diet, you have no energy, but yet you're thinking to yourself, the other guy that's gonna be standing next to you on stage is working out right now, and he's getting better than you.
One of Toda's most recent accomplishments was at the 2016 Kapoi Kapo Okela competition, where he placed first and took the title of overall bodybuilding champion.
Balancing my time was definitely one of the harder things for me to do as a single parent. It being one of my goals from my past, something that I really wanted to get back into, and kind of to show my kids that if you have a goal, just do whatever you can to get to it and it can become true.
As Travis continues his bodybuilding journey, he finds ways to inspire those around him.
So in the future, I really look forward to helping any students, or especially my children, achieve any goals that they might have. If it comes to bodybuilding, my son will be awesome.
This is Kalila Phillips from HP Baldwin High School for HIKI No.
Aloha. Welcome to Nanakuli High Intermediate School, the home of the Golden Hawks, located on the leeward coast on the island of Oahu. Behind me is the most famous tree at our school. The Tree of Knowledge is a sculpture made out of bronze and copper, created by artist Satoru Abe. The sculpture, designed in 1971, represents the graduating seniors leaving their knowledge behind for the underclassmen. During the school year, the tree remains bare with no leaves or flowers, but on graduation day, the graduating seniors, after their ceremony, walk up to a building from the football field and place their leis and flowers on the tree. Today, every year, seniors still put leis and flowers on the tree on graduation day. It still serves as a reminder of the wisdom that past students have left behind for the future generations on the Tree of Knowledge. Our story from Nanakuli High and Intermediate School focuses on a student whose passion is music and performing arts, but that cannot be shared with his #1 supporter.
For Nanakuli High and Intermediate School sophomore, Malachi Keohuloa has a life like most students. He goes to class, interacts with friends, and does homework. But his passion is the performing arts, where he spends 10 hours after school a week with the Nanakuli High and Intermediate School Performing Arts Center. However, Malachi cannot share that passion with his biggest supporter, his mother. As his mother, Yvette Ibarra, is deaf.
I was born deaf. While my mom was pregnant with me, she had German measles rubella. And so, when I grew up, I was very positive about being deaf. It wasn't a hardship.
For Malachi, joining the performing arts was a natural thing for him to do.
I realized that my son had a passion. He really loves to dance. He really loves music.
I'm just really fond of music, and I thought that maybe joining a performing arts center would probably help me go more in depth with my passion for music and dancing, singing, and now I guess I like acting.
Some psychiatrists say that people who eat peanut butter sandwiches are lonely. I guess they're right.
I guess sometimes it's a little disheartening when your deaf mother's in a crowd at your show and she can't hear a word you're saying or singing. So I guess you have to like really bring your emotions out when you're on stage.
So I just enjoy watching his performances. Most of the time, I do understand because it's all based on expression, body language, or the feeling, and so it's beautiful and it touches my heart.
Their relationship is no different because of her disability.
I feel like you shouldn't treat your parent any different from other parents just because they have a disability. So I don't treat my mom any different, but I do sometimes keep in mind that she's deaf.
But being deaf is like, you can feel the world without hearing sound, and I feel the world with my heart.
This is Desiree Kanui from Maui High Intermediate School for HIKI No.
Stay tuned after this show to find out what students who worked on this story learned from their HIKI No experience.
Well, we've come to the end of this episode of HIKI No.
Remember, all these stories were written, shot, and edited by students like us.
We hope you've enjoyed watching them as much as we've enjoyed sharing them with you.
Stay tuned after the episode to find out what some students learned about working on this show.
More proof that Hawaii students HIKI No
can do. On the story Silent Passion, I was the director, co-editor, writer, and interpreter voice.
I was the camera person and the co-editor.
So Silent Passion is about Malachi Keohuloa, who is a sophomore at Nanakuli High Intermediate School, and his passion is music and performing arts, but his mother, his #1 supporter, is deaf.
I think the biggest challenge for the students was more in terms of integrating the feedback from our mentor.
The HIKI No process of working with a mentor for our team was a bit challenging at times because in the beginning we would do like everything she told us. We would correct things, we would color correct, we would fix rough jump cuts or anything that she would say.
But then sometimes I think we got a little confused. We're like, wait, does she mean this or this?
So it's kind of frustrating at times because it's like you feel like you did everything she said, but then like she changes her mind.
So it's kind of like balancing out and then trying to keep doing it until we get it right and the story is at the strongest it can be.
It helped them reflect because, to be honest, they didn't always agree with the feedback, and we would have to have those hard discussions and trying to get them to step back and say, okay, why do you think she's asking you to do this? How does it improve the story?
But in the end, I think what she said did make our video a lot stronger. We couldn't see it at times, but after we kind of did it and we kind of fixed what she said that we needed to fix, we watched it and we went, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now.
You have to keep trying to do things to get it right. You can't just get things right on the first try. You have to keep building it up to make it better.
One of the things I saw the students learn is this ownership, realizing even though they own the story, you know, having outside eyes give you feedback, you need to kind of really take in those suggestions.
When I heard that our story was approved and it was done, I was really proud and I was very happy because we had worked like 3 to 4 months on it. So hearing that it was finally approved made me feel really proud that we accomplished it and we finished it.
That's what I love about this whole HIKI No process. It's real, It's project-based. It's not just for a teacher, but the skills they learn in producing a video are skills that will carry them throughout their life.
Broadcasts of HIKI No are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI No.